Well, breaking news now. You're looking at demonstrators and protesters. They're inside the pavilion at the University of Illinois and Chicago, where Donald Trump had been scheduled to speak tonight, the rally. They have just canceled the rally because of the number of demonstrators within the pavilion who had gotten inside, as well as the hundreds of demonstrators who have been obviously demonstrating, as is their right. They had been given and this is a brilliant idea, I think, on the part of Chicago. They put the demonstrators in a parking lot right next to it all, right across the street from it. And anyway, what you see there is free speech at work in terms of the demonstrators, and their free speech actually destroying the rights of Donald Trump to be heard and those in the rally, an expected 10,000 rally-goers to have heard him. So again, out of a concern for the safety of all involved, Donald Trump has canceled his rally in Chicago tonight, and we will be bringing to you the details on what will happen next and what the reaction there is. Joining us tonight, executive editor for the Weekly Standard, Fox News contributor Fred Barnes, Republican strategist, former Bush White House advisor, Kathy Lynn Taylor. Good to have you both with us.
Thank you.
First, Kathy Lynn, your reaction to demonstrations of that size and magnitude stopping Donald Trump's rally.
Well, it's significant, and I think it's significant as we look towards Cleveland in particular, because
Cleveland? Did you just go by Tuesday and everything?
I did.
Okay.
I did, because if you, the Cleveland Police Commissioner came out this week saying we haven't gotten riot gear even ordered yet, we're not prepared, asking for help, and so I think that it's important that we start looking at these situations.
Who runs that state?
Who runs that state? The governor.
The governor, and the governor is?
Imagine that.
Who is that? He was the guy who can do John Kasich, right? Isn't that right, Fred?
That's so I hear.
So that's sort of an embarrassing position for him to be in, isn't it?
Well, I don't think he said anything about that yet, but
yeah.
Yeah. So
well,
I think that
Can you hear us, Fred? Can you hear us?
I can now, yeah.
Okay, I could tell there was something. Kathy Lynn just saying that the Cleveland police chief says they're not even ready for demonstrations that would be expected if this is going to be the direction a la 1968. What's your reaction?
Well, there is the National Guard,
there's some great optics for you.
Well, and not great optics, but you can't let the demonstrators take over the city as they practically did in Chicago in 1968.
Right.
You know, I don't know why Donald Trump scheduled a rally on a college campus. That's probably not the most congenial place for him to have a rally. And
isn't that a heck of a note when we have to sit there and say that a college campus where freedom of expression should be prized, freedom of thought should be prized, and these people are acting like this? I mean, that's extraordinary.
I know, but Lou, you know, college campuses aren't like that anymore. Colleges, campuses now.
Well, shame on us.
Right.
Well, shame on colleges anyway. So many of them, they're places where free speech is suppressed because you don't want to say things that might upset the poor little students.
That's right.
Oh my gosh! You know, Donald Trump is getting. I mean, he's talking to grown men and women, and people are getting upset about hearing the truth.
That's right.
I mean, where are we going to go, Kathy Lynn, if we can't speak on our, can't speak to the American people honestly about the issues? Can't go to a college campus or university and speak freely? I mean, we're going the wrong direction.
We're going the wrong direction. It's fundamentally un-American. And look, we need grown-ups to be grown-ups, and we need to adhere to the Constitution. We need to make sure that we protect these freedoms. And colleges should be doing a much better job of this, for sure.
Well, I think the university showed great guts, as you know, and as Jeff Flock was reporting earlier. I mean, the professors, the faculty did not want them there, Fred. And fought against it, but I give the administration of the university credit. They said he's going to be here, you demonstrate over here. Of course, that isn't exactly the way it happened, and we're seeing some scuffles now inside. This looks to be between supporters and demonstrators, and I think somebody picked a rather big fella there to go to scuffle with. I'm thinking he ought to reconsider that as we.
Well, whatever happens, you can count on one thing, Lou.
What's that?
Trump will be blamed.
Yeah, he will be blamed by the right and the left, and and we may be watching, even though a lot of left-wing folks, Congressman Luis Gutierrez, some other aldermen and so forth are there, the faculty. They may be just simply the tools of the right-wing establishment, which had to meet to try to shut down his candidacy. Now, wouldn't that add to a juicy, delicious line to the story?
It would, but it's highly unlikely they couldn't put together a demonstration like this.
Well, not a successful one.
I mean, look, it looks to me like just your classic left-wing demonstration with, people supporting left-wing politicians and a bunch of students. We've been seeing those for years.
Well, you know what? I just had another thought, though. Those guys at Sea Island, they've got some experience outsourcing jobs and offshoring projects and services. They might have done it that way, Fred. What do you think?
I don't think they quite could have put that together. Besides, if this was a right-wing protest, they'd be better dressed.
Yeah, well, you know what? They are. Jeff Flock talking about the number of people in suits and ties.
Right.
A diverse group is the way he described them.
But, while we want to protect our freedoms for sure, these protests cost a lot of money to these cities. They end up costing taxpayers enormous amounts of money. I mean, we saw that with the Occupy Wall Street.
We should charge,
we should charge for a view.
The winning groups and demonstrators, and anyway,
Trump is going to look. If this is getting great coverage as we see it right now, Fox is putting it on, and that's only going to encourage more protesters at other Trump events, I predict.
Right. Well, and he's not even there, and it's getting coverage.
What you were watching and hearing did not happen, ladies and gentlemen. The last thing we want to do is bring you the truth of what is. No, come on, Fred, you've got to show people what's going on and what's the impact of a man who's trying to speak truth on the campaign trail, a presidential candidate being denied his opportunity to talk. I think, Fred, we would agree that's big news.
Yeah, look, I'm not faulting Fox for showing this. I'm sure the other news stations are as well.
They are, by the way. My executive producer says every one of them.
I think, unfortunately, however, that it is going to encourage more protesters at Trump events.
Yeah, well,
and that's what I think we need to look at.
And by the way, I think that particular plan has been in place for a very long time, and is being orchestrated and, by the way, paid for very carefully. Fred Barnes, great to have you with us. Kathy Lynn Taylor. By the way, who wins Tuesday? Who will prevail? I do think Trump will end up winning on Tuesday. Fred?
Well, I think Trump has a pretty good chance of winning 5 out of 6. Maybe 6 out of 6, but Kasich has really put on a pretty good campaign in his home state of Ohio. But other than that, there are 5 other primaries: Florida, Illinois, the others.
Watch this. That's pretty good on the part of Kasich. He hasn't been there that much. Fred, thanks so much. I couldn't resist it. Apologies to John Kasich. Just having fun. Up next, a lot more coverage of those demonstrations and protests, and we'll be talking about border security. Do we have the right to sovereign, secure borders in this country, or have we moved past that phase in our nationhood? Sheriff Joe Arpaio joins us next. Stay with us.